Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcoming you back to Lovecraft Country and tips and tricks for Cultist Simulator. Now, this is part 4 of our series and probably the end of the first cycle, because the whole point of the series was to get your character, or however you want to look at yourself in playing this game, to the point of stability where you can't crash and burn at a moment's notice. And as you can see, the last 3 episodes we have, of course, built our character up to more than human maximums in health, passion, and reason. We have established our cult, of course, and we've got our patrons, although Poppy's currently got a issue with Poppy currently that I cannot fulfill her commission because I don't have level 6 knock. We'll get into that later. We also, of course, have killed our boss, which allows us to have a 90-second rather than 60-second refresh for our position at Glover and Glover. Now, if you were to evolve that position further, it would go back to 60 seconds, which is not something I think is wise to do. You're not going to be using this job primarily for income for much longer, and if you've got 60-second things like trying to paint your relentlessness so it doesn't become a dread or cast a spell using one of the rights, it takes 60 seconds, you want that extra 20 seconds to get in. And of course, we've got the maxed out matchless physique, which allows us to create a vitality in 40 seconds should we ever become sick. I've taught you how to use a sunset rite or the more traditional dream route in order to be able to get rid of dread and fascination. You're set for the moment. So now we have essentially hit the glass ceiling of civilization. We have gotten every piece of lore out of both the auction house and Moreland's bookshop. We've actually purchased Moreland's bookshop so we can use its library. So right now, the point is for our characters to go enter out into the world and look for, see more lore to satisfy. Oh, for crying. That's a little weird. Okay, there's been an update and there's some weird shit going on. So hopefully this isn't going to spoil the episode. Alright, so in order to find those spots, you require secret histories. And as you can see, I've been diving into the Dream Realm because I have 3 of 5 of the gates open at this point. And as you can see, even though I can only really get more than 8, I have been so dedicated in combining the lore that I've managed to get 1 of each to show you. Okay, the occult scrap. This, in order to find a spot in anywhere that has occult lore you can get, you must put the secret history here. Now, if you put in a level 2 occult scrap, you get a secret place in the quote-unquote the city. That's London. Okay, let's translate this out. The Shire is if you get to put 1 at 4. Now, each one, of course, is a slightly more difficult spot before it, but not too difficult. We'll go into that as well. That Shire is the English countryside. Level 6, continent. That's Western Europe. It's always been known as the continent. Level 8, the land beyond the forest, Transylvania. Literally translated is land beyond the forest. Although in general, it's just usually everything in Eastern Europe. I think which includes Vienna, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the Rending Mountains. This is over in, I believe, Caucasia and other forms of Turkey, where you have some really old ruins. Vagabonds, the Vagabonds Map. Now, the Vagabond is one of the Hours, the only one who is not allowed in the Mansis, but has traveled to every other spot. And the map is basically you getting a fragment. And you can never enter the Mansis, but she goes everywhere else. If you believe her boast, she's the only one who knows all the history. Sometimes you let something record or travel, which is essentially what you have here. The lone and landless sands is sub-Saharan Africa. Okay? And the Egyptian, of course, tombs and such. Last one. Fort Noon Antidote. Now, across the far bright sea, Port Noon lies. Exiles, monsters, and visionaries have long favored the waters around it. Perhaps we shouldn't get too close, but it might be useful to get close enough. That is the Caribbean. Yeah, essentially it also includes Port Noon, where the exiled longs, aka the immortals that will not serve the Hours, all chill behind a spring, around a spring that helps them maintain their anonymity. You know, if you're going to be immortal, I really would do more with it and stick in a small island. Anyways, but let's start at the beginning. Let's see if we can find some hidden spot. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Silly me. Hang on. Let's see if we can find an occult spot in London. 60-second turn time. We're going to avoid doing some other stuff, like using the other cylinders, as I call them, for the moment. We're currently stable and want to concentrate on one thing at a time. Fast forward. You obviously don't want to watch circles go around for over a minute here. Okay, Dread Trap is up and running. Lost the vitality, so I'll have to replace it, but I'll have to do the job first if I want to keep it. Yeah, you got to keep track of all these small details. Okay, so we should be done shortly. Pause. Alright, this place merits investigation. The congregation of St. Felix of Schruden, The nonconformist enclave of a heterodox sector of a Calvinist offshoot, which is like really obscure Protestant, apparently, tucked away in the odd corner of the city. Oh, for crying out loud. They belt out hymns with unsuitable gusto in a throat-scraping language that is not much like Latin. It's probably Eastern Orthodox. Yeah, I'm going to level with you. We're going to be suffering some of the Lovecraftian-based racism here. Okay, sold a painting. Cool. 2 glimmering and 2 funds. As you can see, I've been building up the funds to 48, so I do not have to worry about suddenly crashing and burning while I'm demonstrating the stuff to you. Go to work. All right, so the question is, do we want to tackle the congregation? If so, how do we do so? Now, in order to access a spot, we have to create an expedition. You require a leader, which is one of your people, an assistant, and 2 funds. Basically, this will cost you cash. It always costs you cash. And the question is, who do you want to send? Now, I have a general rule with these expeditions. First of all, after the first cycle, it will tell you what challenges you have to beat. But the first 2 people you send, you're sending in blind. And I have a general rule when that comes to that. If there are people in there, then you want to use stealth, because we will almost always have watchers. There are different classes of watchers, and you can do 3 things to them. So you can kill them, in which case you send your knife people, Rose, Victor, and Eldridge. You can seduce them, then you send Salba and Renetta to do that. And you can stealth them, put Visbit, Porter, or Sylvia in. Now, here's the deal. There are different types of watchers. You can't seduce monks. Probably going to find them here, so your Grail people will be useless. You can't kill immortals. Yeah, they do pop up every now and then. But you can always stealth. With one single exception. The hell's going on with that? Every time it saves, it's making that noise. This new update sucks. Anyways, and dragons, serpents, they'll smell you out. But then you just send your knife people in to kill them, or your knock people to control them using the power of serpents, which falls under knock because apparently serpents created the gate systems of the world. But I'll just send the people with knives. Knockers, as I've demonstrated last episode's far too useful for summoning rights, so I'm not going to go out and risk them, because yes, you can actually get people wounded and eventually lose them if you're not careful. Now, this obviously has people in it, so you want to toss in 2 of your moth people. Remember, you can keep track of what you've got in here simply by checking this out, and this is the important part. 10 moth. All of your tests are on a scale of 1 to 10, and you can never get better than 90% effectiveness for your whatever test you're going. Once you get up to 10, and you can go with 20, 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter, it never goes above 90%. So you never need to put more than 10 of any one particular value. Now, assuming there's more tests than that, you may have to put additional people in, and of course we got to send cash with them. Now notice, when we're ready to go, they give us this. Membership of the congregation is strictly controlled. It may even be inherited. The safest approach is to burgle the minister's residence while he's conducting his service, but the sworn mothers of the congregation guard this place in shifts, and they are not easily distracted. Okay, that's just the explanation about funds. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to send in Yizbit and Porter and essentially buy them some equipment in order to try to break into the congregation. They're going to try to stealth the watchers that we've just got mentioned there. There you go. 30 seconds for the first cycle. Or 30 seconds of game time. We are shooting past here a bit. At the same time, I'm maintaining my alibi of being a perfectly normal office worker. Okay, and he's looking for trouble, which could be bad if we time this out badly. You want to make sure you have no Mystique going when you do this, because at the end of every expedition, you will have a notoriety. And if this guy's active at the time, yep, you can have evidence for you right then and there. All right. The expedition continues. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add none funds or send a follower. Guess what? Now, we can see the challenge. The monks. Contemplatives blessed or condemned to service here. They're bound by their curious vows. We can murder or deceive them, but you cannot be seduced. Therefore, basically, it's why I sent the deceivers. Guardian. Entities, that. And you notice you have the 2 funds and our 2 characters and the place mentioned here as well. You can always, just by touching these, look at what you've got established here. Now, we have to either put it in funds or a follower. And we have only 1 test. We already have the 10 moth to go with it. So this is what you have pawns for. They're basically cheaper than sending money. So yeah, now we also note that you have the pawns 1 knife. Now, of course, that the computer is going to default to whatever you have a higher value. It's not going to send in the 1 pawn with a single edge and attempt to kill the monks when you have 10 moth going already. Now, when you have both equal value, it's kind of a 50-50 shot what really happens. I've accidentally murdered characters I didn't want, no, the Guardians I didn't want to, because I had both 10 edge and 10 moth. Okay, let's continue the expedition. All right, so the months, a potent deception. We have brought to us certain sacred texts whose meaning is only apparent in moonlight. Yeah, essentially, I always think of them stealthing by, but apparently they think that you con them for some reason. Now, note it says I can add assistance. If you were, for example, dealing with multiple challenges and you had to drop characters in with additional values to get what you wanted to, this would be the time to do it. We don't have to do it now since we're dealing with simple ones. I will, since I managed to grind and get them out, you do some of the complicated ones to show you how they work. Okay. Meantime, let's continue our acts of breaking, entering. Let's do the usual. All right, so we've got that reset. Always keep a vitality going. There we go. Detective is disappointed. Didn't catch us in the act. All right. So, the monk's delusion. Faith is a double-edged weapon. These monks have great talent in the matter of believing, so they have believed our lies. So, we've passed the test. 90% chance, like I said, so we're stealthing past them with our 3 dudes here, and we will be moving on to the next challenge, or the reward. In this case, the reward, since we have no additional challenges. Each challenge has to be beaten. I think there's a maximum of 3 challenges. And you'll get the hand of how to handle them pretty quickly. Each challenge usually has at least 2 different ways to beat it. Seriously, what the hell? I am seriously gonna have to reload this game. Alright, take a nap. Go to work. Alright, forgot to put the reason card, which means I'm basically half-assing it at work. Alright, so yeah. Treasures lie before us. Here is where my strategies for dealing with notoriety start. Okay, when we get to this point where treasures lie before us and it starts, you have 60 seconds before the game will drop out your characters, the reward, and for your that, and the notoriety. Now, as I pointed out before, your heart characters, if you put them in under talk, start them, and put in charm, will attempt to remove bad notoriety, bad reputation. Now, the thing is, the reason I suggested not having Mystique when you start this is that the wary detective up there will continue to look, or any hunter, when you have notoriety, when you have Mystique running until it gets to notoriety. Basically, it'll randomly pick which one it wants. So if you have 4 notoriety, you have 4 Mystique, 1 notoriety, 20% chance, but he'll keep burning through the Mystique until it gets the notoriety, or the notoriety is disposed of, either by timing out or removing in another fashion. Problem is, charm works exactly the same way. If you have multiple ones, like 4 Mystique and 1 notoriety, there's a 4 out of 5 chance they grab the Mystique instead of the notoriety. So if you want to do this, you can have nothing on the board except the future notoriety. When this thing drops out, are we ready? Because it's like a 60-second warm-up cycle to get to this point. And remember, with a 5 heart, I only got a 70% chance of doing it. So it's always risky. So I never want more than 1 notoriety out at any time. See, there he is. Now I'm competing with him to get the damn evidence. Really bad timing. All right. Next section, secret devotions. Always look at the last one because it's unique to each location about how you raid the place. Minister's bedchamber is grand in proportion but sparsely furnished. Beneath the window, a feathered ornamental axe lies on an enameled chic chalice drum on the altar of yew-wood, which means that they're worshipping the sister and witch. If you know what yew-wood is. Or is that the moth? I don't know. We'll find out from the books. Suffice it to say, he's not an Orthodox Christian, and in fact, there's a suggestion what Orthodox Christianity is under control of one of the hours. Boom. You saw that, right? Both of them popped at the same moment. At the same time that the hunter had already passed through the evidence. If both of them had been active looking for evidence, I think the cop would have overridden ours. But as you can see, immediately that shifts it. That's what I call the from the heart strategy. If you can get your heart character out the same exact time as treasures lie before us cycle, it will snap up that reputation. Now, this is not 100% safe. If he was looking, he could grab the out from you. He could grab out the notoriety while it's visible. Why am I pointing to the screen? It's visible at here. As you can see that little dot right there. he can grab it because it's visible. But once the 30-second cycle is complete, our character, Leo, will take it into himself, and the 70% has a chance of eliminating it. In the meantime, beneath the altar, in a box secured with a complicated triple knot, I think he's probably a witch worshipper, we find a trove of books and more besides, a knife rack with old blood. Yep, blood sacrifice, a witch, sir. A twist of cloth and a leathery remnant of something the minister must have surrendered his immortality at his ordination. Yeah, that's his ballsack. He's castrated himself. You get a bronze spintra, which is another form, which is a lesser form of the spintra that we saw before, which is now I always keep all my bronze spintra for future use. Seriously, I will usually keep 1 iron, 1 silver, but I'll keep all the bronze ones for a specific purpose. The Rose of Nuriel, as you can see, it's it's a occult book in Greek. You'll find that, by the way, all of them are in Greek, and you have a Greek translator, which is, highly convenient, which means that this guy was probably, yep, there you are, Greek, doesn't know his own language that well. And Greek means, by the way, he's Greek Orthodox. So yeah, this is where the racism comes in, because the Greek Orthodox faith, which is the one that came out of Byzantine, is primarily, by the way, lodged in both Greece and Russia, because Russia Orthodox is nothing but a rip-off of Greek Orthodox, and yes, I will say that. So the people from London looked at it, who were, good Protestants, because King Henry needed to murder his wives, of course looked down upon it. And yeah, all of these will eventually, this one, by the way, is a translation from a Greek text. All right. So you'll know all of our people have gone back down here. I have a bunch of books. Now, I already know Greek. Scholar Greek's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sell this thing. God damn it. Where's that random noise coming from? Yeah, every time it saves, it does that. It's annoying. Whoever did this update, you suck. Anyways, so since we've got the learning one open, let's tackle this book. The entity called Cologne arrives in a blizzard and demands the city gates are bars. As Abdios falls under her spell, the dead return but do not speak. Okay, this one's going to be winter, definitely. It's a death book. Necromancy for fun and profit. Alright. Yeah, this is getting annoying. I'm going to try to figure that out and fix it, because I do not want you guys to have to suffer through this. God, what happened to the sound effects? Alright, sickness running up. We've got a vitality to beat it. Weary detective found nothing because we covered up our traces, but this was failed. Okay, so we've got a couple options here. Notoriety is still here and will be active for over 300 seconds. So I can either A, take another 60-second break and create and try to do it again. Now, odds are I'll do it again, but the 60 seconds, of course, means that he's going to have one more shot to try to find that thing. The alternative is the other main strategy that I will use for this game when you're dealing with notoriety. I will create what I know as the where there's fire, there's smoke. Remember, the weary detective will randomly grab any form of reputation, whether it be a notoriety, mystique, or a dead body. If he gets a dead body or notoriety, he'll make evidence. And mystique, however, just means that he keeps looking. So one of the ways to do so is to create a smoke screen of mystique. Now, you can create mystique easily in 3 ways. One is to do a commission. Every commission that you do, you not only get paid, you get 1 mystique, and it only takes 10 seconds to launch. And boom. You also have another bronze spintra, because that's how this rolls. The bronze spintra, like I said, I keep. The other ones I'll sell. Okay, so we've got that. We'll keep this open, and yet another vitality. You go back to work, because we don't want anybody who's suspicious about our breaking and entering. Officer, seriously, I was at work all day. I have no idea what happened at this congregation. Alright, so, and we will pop the count in with his commission. And generate another one, because there's the mystique that was generated right there. Now, the peculiar rumor is something that allows me to find a person or a place, but it also gives me notoriety, and I have no use for it. I just let it burn out. Seriously. There's the iron spintra, and I'm going to actually be using that in a moment. I'll show you what I mean by that. Where'd it go? Oh, right there. Okay, so that's the lowest form of currency in the hidden world, is iron spintra, but it's useful for one of the purposes I will be showing you as soon as I am done with both reading the book and Dr. Aladamim. As you can see, now I have 2 Mystique. So when he goes looking for evidence, he's going to have to burn, he may have to burn up to 2 more Mystique before he gets notoriety. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm hoping the notoriety burns out. Okay. Shh. Oh, shit. I should have saw that text. I apologize. But yeah, it will give you an explanation of what the text is, and kind of did that automatically without thinking about it. But you'll notice now I have 2 white ceremonies. Yes, that was a level 4 white one. Now this will also allow me to build up to the point where I get 8 winter, which, as I told you from second episode, I think, usually is the highest winter you're going to need to win the game. Let's see. Yeah, I'll start the process of building that up once I get through a couple other things. Now, you notice that we've cleared this, and I could right now translate a book if I wanted to, doing these from Greek because I have the ability. But the first thing I'm going to do is going to wait for the good doctor to come out. Play. Oh my god, what is going on? I really hope this isn't bothering you. I've turned down the sound effects for recording purposes, but if you're having it bad, let me know. Alright, so you notice, by the way, when I did that, it also popped out a extra glimmering. Okay, I could do some combining here, but which is really what I'm going to do. Now, winter, remember, I'll tell you exactly what you need, requires knowledge. Okay, that's fine. And we get to 6. We get to level 6, will require knowledge and a grim lesson, which I've already got with silent intensity. So, which is one reason I got silent intensity rather than the other type of reason. But we'll start that process. Because I have more erudition than I know what to do with, and even if I didn't, I had the library. Now, 3 Mystique is good, but we probably want better. Sickness, vitality, burn that off. That will be contentment down there. Now, I should have done this earlier, but I wanted to reset the... God damn you. What the hell is going on? Oh god, I have to complain to somebody about this. Extra glimmering. Okay, health's back. Now, remember I have a 60-second timeout, so in order to continue with the process of creating more smoke, what you want to do is paint. Painting usually will produce 1 through 3 Mystique, and since you're usually drowning in influence to some level, see, any of these would work. I'm just going to grab a erudition since I have so many of them and do a really boring scholarly work of painting. Let's see what this generates. Alright. Okay, challenge knowledge. Yep, stuff keeps happening. Now, colors of night. Sure, I got the cash. Let's buy some better stuff. Better materials, as it were. There's the restlessness again, which will become dread. More vitality. Oh my god. And now we have the artist's reward. As you can see, we have erudition. We got back everything we used, plus funds. Funds, and did we get more funds? Yes, we got paid. Alright. This is the usual mess after you've managed to done some. You know, you use 5. I like to have at least 5 passions so I can have 1 passion left over if I was going to wanted to do the painting. But unfortunately, I have to go back to work. And I have to just generate dread as a result. Now, one of the ways I can deal with this is the fascination, of course, is a negative card. It's when your brain starts overloading with the information. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hope this doesn't pop up the fascination trap, and if it does, I'm going to let this turn to dread so the 2 will cancel out. But you notice now we have 7 reputation cards, and 6 of them are Mystique. And if you really want to get crazy about it, you can just speak of esoteric matters in another 90 seconds, have another Mystique running. Therefore, the detective will be running around in circles while you're doing while you're hoping to keep concealing that notoriety. It's not perfect. He can grab the notoriety by random, or if he does it too soon, he'll burn through all the Mystique and get to the notoriety. But it's a good way to do this. It's easy, and it makes you money. That's always a good thing, right? Anyways, let's spend that extra spinter. I usually keep 1 silver kicking around just in case, and that usually will get me at least 8. Ugh, gods. I really hope this update gets fixed. Blinking in the light. I put together the 2 winter. Yep, there's the standard 8 for the thing, so I now have 59. Yeah, I'm not going broke anytime, and I'm almost content to quit my job now. In fact, I think I will. There we go. Dread trap kicked in, unfortunately. All right. Now, this is why I kept that Iron Spintra. Remember the tutor card? Well, you have to pay them in Spintra, and I don't know Aramaic, so I'm going to have the good doctor teach me that in exchange for doing the Count's bidding. Kind of weird how that works sometimes, but it works. I ain't concerned about it. Now, remember, when you're dealing with Spintras are actually a promise of a favor. Basically, I've given my minor favor from the Count to the doctor. In exchange, the doctor will teach me Aramaic, and in the future, he can get a favor from the Count. That's just kind of how it works. I mean, that silver Spintra is the major favor the Hoppy gave me for allowing her to sacrifice one of my followers. Now I have the problem in that I have the dread. Now, I need contentment to get rid of it. We know how to get the contentment, get drunk. And of course, fascination is no longer, getting rid of fascination is no longer possible, so we're going to do the standard way of eliminating it by summoning an entity from beyond that. Because I know this is how I deal with my mental problems, is by summoning, no, not really mental problems, mental fascinations, is by summoning extra dimensional forces. It's surprisingly good therapy. And there's another damned restlessness coming up. Okay, so deal with that in a moment. The contentment goes here. We have another sickness coming that goes generated from the price of joy. Breathing so labored, my thoughts confused. We OD'd. Okay, so we're going to need that vitality pretty shortly, which is why I keep burning the vitality. I will, there you go. Study Aramaic with tutor, the language of the visions of Aram, the book of Daniel, and the account of Mystique at the spider's door. Which the first two are real books, by the way. This third one is, of course, game only. Children of Aram, the language of Aram and all her many children these 3,000 years. Is that supposed to be the version? I'd have to look up that actual language. All of these languages, by the way, even the fake ones, are based on real ones. Stop that. It's annoying. Okay, so in the meantime, you'll notice I can grab this, do the Grim Lessons, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put the winter back up. I'll start translating the books. We'll start moving in that direction, but you got an idea right now for the first basic of expeditions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you more advanced for the solutions for expeditions. Let me skip ahead. Okay, so a quick interlude before the next expedition. And remember when I said before you that Knock was in fact one of the easiest and hardest ones to get? It's hard because Knock books are relatively rare compared to others. Knife is kind of like that too. But one of the things that you can do that's very interesting about Knock is that you can literally combine it with any other form of lore of the same type. It doesn't matter. It said their incantation, well, there we go. Incantations of unseeming, where the space between worlds is as potent as the actual syllables. When a thing is opened, we will know its nature. Any lore studied with Knock becomes Knock. Remember, this entire game is about reading the small print, because that's where all of it is. Now, I need to get Knock up to level 6 with Poppy here, and I'm throwing in a Knife secret. Like I said, Knife is rare, but I already have it at level 6 now because of the 2 books we got from the now abandoned church. Which apparently fled after we stole all their stuff. We kind of don't need much more than that. Like I said before, you could win this game with nothing more than 6 lore, 8 winter, except for winter 8 and whatever you're using for advancement, which you must get up to. Well, you can get up to 10, but it's really easier if you do 12 or 14. The rest, where I've got them set right now, is probably fine. But in any case, let's get this started. Now, it'll be a single, of course, because we use this challenge, knowledge, which we have the library for, so it's going to be fine. By the time you get back to this, because I'll just skip ahead, you don't need to see the circles rotate to learn this stuff. By the time you get back to it, I will have fulfilled Poppy's commission, because I will raise this to level 4, and then raise it again to level 6. Yeah, just that little trick you might not know. Okay, so as you can see, there's been a few changes. As you can, this is of course the level 6 Knock lore knows consent of wounds. For open certain ways, one must first open oneself. This practice outlines that opening the name and the mother of ants. This sounds gross. Anyways, so yeah, we have the consent of wounds. So we now have level 6 or 8 in every single one of the lores, which means that we can always go down here and create these commissions. We notice I have Poppy's commission completed. Now, you notice I'm down to 36 when it comes to the wealth. I've been doing time and burning off the excess. Then every time we go on an expedition, I'll be using the where there's fire, there's smoke strategy to launch Mystique by burning these off, which will come with a small amount of cash. And occasionally, as you can see, I'm using the unskilled labor to produce both a vitality and a cash. So I'm not like sinking into the abyss, but you do have to keep track of it. Sometimes it can catch up on you. You don't want to drop below too low, or it can become an issue. And as you can see, I needed a vitality because you've got another freaking sickness. This just goes over and over again. Anyways, I have actually gone through down here, and I'll show you, and I've gotten the remaining city locations using the occult scrap level 2 secret histories lore. This includes St. Agnes Hospital. They did good work here. Certainly there were a few too many amputations, but then there are individuals one would prefer not to walk the city streets. I gotta say, by the way, in the capital, London, that sounds a bit like euthanasia or other types of, shall we say, dealing with the deplorables. Forgotten Mytherium. The curiosity seekers have picked over this ancient temple, but there might be a hidden door here somewhere. Hidden door is of course, capitalized to draw your attention to it, as that is a particular type of challenge. Sometimes the descriptions will let you know ahead of time of what you want to get. Now, this is actually based off a real location. There are numerous Roman ruins underneath London, as Londinium was originally a Roman city. We just keep building on top of it. There's actually the famous Baths of Bath, which is kind of interesting, which is a temple to Minerva that's basically intact, that was converted into bathhouse. Romans were kind of utilitarian like that. You could have your temple and have a good soak at the same time. Cater and Hero Unlimited. It's been abandoned since the explosion when both the owners died. The machine stands silent. The building is a collapsing shell. Mr. Carter was known to display some peculiar trinkets in his office. Perhaps some remain. Okay, and this is one you should pay attention to. The Forsaken Reach. Among the grave anks of the rotting Ritter, Thames, because at this point the Thames is dead. And it's been dead for over a century, which has no life capability being possible to live in it, no life you'd like to know about, because it's how polluted it is. But the important part is to notice at the end here, you found all the expeditions in the capital, though you can find and visit the Reach several times. There's approximately 5 to 7 locations, including the final one, for each level of secret lore. Once you get this one, you are then only ever going to get this one. Now, there's a couple things you can do with this, because the Forsaken Reach and anyone like it at the end has a random draw. In other words, it will give you ingredients or sometimes books if you haven't found them already. So it can be worth it to redo these, because you will always know what challenges there are, because obviously it's the same location, same challenges. You can go in and get what you want. But on the other hand, you may end up just like stocking up things like pigments, ending up or random ingredients that you don't need. You can always sell those if you really don't need them. And there's certain uses for them. Like, you notice there's one, I need to get it right, by the way, that uses ingredients if I want to get the animate dead spell going, because it's considered an ingredient and I can't load it in any other way. It's not like it's assisting me. All right, so in this case, however, what I want to do is I want to use the other strategy. Lose this one. The remember I told you, if you're going to a place that has people in it, like Strackholm's residence, which I skipped somehow, the house of Mr. Strackholm, the collector of rare objects. Strackholm will not sell his treasure, but a sufficient cunning accomplice might gain entry. Yeah. If you have people guarding it, go with the moth, because that will deceive the watchers. If it's empty, go with lantern, because that will find things that are hidden. Hidden door specifically here. So let's put that to the test, shall we? Okay, we'll pick our lantern people. Pope has 5 lantern. Slee has another 5 lantern. And you've reached a 10 that you need for that particular challenge. So we'll roll in, catch the description. Yeah, that's what's happened. Every time it saves, it does that little click thing, and for some reason it double clicks when I pause. It's annoying as hell, and I hope that my complaint among the millions of others makes them stop that. All right, convinced the Mytherium still holds secrets its discoverers never found. It's unlikely to be dangerous, but the search will require funds. Okay, we're going to send these 2 in using their lantern ability, which, of course, uncovers hidden things, as well as drives away evil and other curses as well. You've always got to pay attention to the number of challenges. I think, at least, like I said, each challenge has at least 2 ways you can solve it. All right, we'll send them in. We'll accelerate it, of course. I've got unskilled labor going at the same time to deal with this, or replace this, actually. Okay, so we roll this in. All right, first time in, you pause. Expedition continues. It will tell you what the obstacle is. A hidden door can be found with lantern or knock. Now, anything that can be done with knock, use the other option, because your knock people, you have 2 of them. If something goes wrong, you're not going to have, and they die, you are screwed, because they are so necessary for summoning. So these guys stay at home and they summon things. Plus, there's also the fact they tend to stare off into space, so, you know. You best to keep them home. Anyways, but yeah, in order to keep it going, we'll drop another pawn in. Okay. Just to, I guess, hold things. What they're good for. And I'll deal with this. Oh, wait. There we go. Did the double click stop? Nope, still gone. I can hear it. I've turned down the sounds because it's just getting too freaking annoying. Not sure how you're hearing it since there's I usually tone down the additionally with recording any background so it doesn't overgo my voice. Alright, so if call upon the watchman who illuminates, you'll almost certainly find this door. There's no point in throwing anybody in. I do not require to. Remember, only time you have to throw a pawn in is when it says you require funds or a follower. Now, of course, if you have more than one challenge, which we'll demonstrate next, you'll need to throw in additional followers for those additional challenges. I have specifically gotten an extra class 10 expedition for that purpose. See, the thing is, there we go. Faint away through the hidden door. A faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. Okay. We've gotten that challenge over with. There's only one challenge. So the next one after this will be... Deal with these. We'll show you treasures lie before us. If you remember, at this point you decide which option you're going to be using to get the flaw off your back for the notoriety. You could try to use the shot from the heart, which is one heart person starts here, 60 seconds later picks up your notoriety and tries to put it away. That's the weakest way of doing it, unless you are specifically playing a heart-based cult, in which the 10 heart exalted people will have a 90% chance of getting rid of it. You go with that. But if you don't have a heart-based cult, your best bet is, of course, smoke and fire. Smoke, where there's fire, there's smoke. It's a long title, but it gets the point across. And the way to do that, by the way, perfectly, is at the same point in time, start painting. I remember I did it late last time simply because I had another job going. I forgot to leave this slot open. Because it's just a habit to keep the prints. Under inspiration, just pick some random influence. Make sure it's an influence or a person, because you can always do a portrait, because that will not generate notoriety. If you use any mystical ones like this, or a portrait of a mystical creature, you'll generate more notoriety, which is kind of counterproductive to the strategy. Anyways, yes, so that's going. Do not, however, launch these until they come, because you want the Mystique to last longer than the notoriety, so the notoriety must be the first one. It's approximately 70 seconds to do this, so the 60-second counter here. I'm only interested in Mystique, so I'm not going to make that bigger. I don't really care how many funds the painting generates. A deeper sanctuary. The lonely space must do the memory of blood. Oh, there's a blood sacrifice again. Blood is the source of all power. All power! Sorry, I went sit there for a moment. We have found the hidden door upon the highest grades initiates used. All right. As you can see, this is still going. Utter focus. Boom, boom, dread. Okay. Now, if the fascination trap had gone, it might have pulled the fascination from this card because, yeah, usually you will get fascination. 3 contentment. Hey, that's not bad. 2 glimmering and only 1 mystique. So you can't get 3 mystique every time. But in this case, we'll deal with what we got. Now, this one's launched, so, madam, you... get that out of the way. Sorry, the pop-up came up. Alright, so, boom. Use her. Okay, at the same time, the vitality is running low, so I'll... No, actually, stop. Don't do that. Sunset right. Want to get rid of this fascination as quickly as possible. Throw... Come on, you can do this. Throw the fascination, Enid, and 6 Grail in, and you've got the summoning spell. That will get rid of the fascination. We'll go over what we got in a moment here, but I was... Alright. Go. While that's launching, we get all of our people back, plus Refulin, a white so pure that it remains visible even in utter darkness. Now, the thing I hate that. Thing about that is that, first of all, is Aspect Lantern 4, which is thought. It's a pigment, which means that remember when the requested with the colors of night requested pigment, we can throw this in. Now, we want to do it only for specific reasons, because again, it will generate notoriety, so we want to use it for producing one specific type of painting. You can sell it. And it's an ingredient if you want to use it for spells and such. Okay, second. The Elgabine Manacle does not relinquish its grip. It is a tool that you can use for some of these rites, as well as other purposes. The sword does not kill as the instrument in the hand of the killer, Seneca the Younger. And it's 8 winter. This is really powerful to begin with. If you didn't get 8 lore, you could use this with another rite, probably I think Map's Edge, in order to summon the Sun and Rag's servant, the maid in the mirror. If that's another option you can take if you didn't want to spend the time to get this, which I prefer to do. Cracked Noonstone. Noon, as it says, is not what it is, but this sun is not what it was, but this means refers to the sun dying. This is when the stone still remains an embery glow. It has been cracked. A forged aspect follower can restore it with sufficient resources, or I could use what power remains. It only has 1 lantern left to do it, but we can get it up to 4 if you repair it. I'll go over that in a moment. And we have an empty Mistreum. This is a place of worship, but you can make it so. You could choose to use the secret room in the temple as we new headquarters, but we've already chosen the bookstore because the library is much more important than the sanctuary or the secrecy one. You'll notice it doesn't show it here, but if you picked it, you have both secrecy and sanctuary, as well as being able to generate a 2-point lantern influence by spending a fund, which really can be problematic because then what you're dealing with is the fact that you've got that will turn into a fascination, which is really kind of counterproductive. But let's get the smoke going. Okay, put her in, get another Mystique there, another Glimmering. You'll notice that sometimes you'll get Glimmering or there's the Iron Spintra. You'll get Glimmering or Erudition when you do this. So if you time it right, you can actually use it to combine lore. I'm not super fascinated on that right now. But yeah, because you can generate it pretty easily yourself, but 60 seconds of effort. But if you're the sort of person that used to be horrifically efficient, that is the way to do it. As you can see, you have more Glimmering. I mean, if I really was amusing myself, I could probably end up producing some Glimmering lesson learned so it would last longer. But again, it's not exactly a rare resource. Okay, put him out. Yes, the 3rd Mystique. Okay. And boom, we got that done. Again, another Iron Spintra. We can sell if we need the money, because I usually like to keep one in reserve just in case. I almost never use it, but every time you give away the last of anything, you immediately need it. And that long-awaited one from Poppy. Okay. Oh, and she gave us an additional Glimmering, because that's exactly what we need right now. Yeah, we have 5 Mystique. Put the tool over here in case I need it, and the cracked moonstones on the to-do list. Erudition for what we got from her. Let's see, boom. And like I said, we could use it right now. I'm probably just going to let it burn. And we have the pigment. Now, the pigment I'll go on how to create in a bit, but that creates an additional notoriety. So until this one's gone, I'm not dealing with it. Okay, so in that case, if you really want more, like I said, you just grab another one of these and talk about esoteric matters. Because even though you've already got all your people, it will generate a additional Mystique. That'll take about 90 seconds, however. Okay, the cops aren't looking yet. Remember, essentially, there's the raw profit, which if we ever do get evidence is kind of useful for. I'll show it to you sometime. And we need keep a vitality running. Run that in here. Boom. Oh, and you're getting back in formation, dude. Another Glimmering. Oh my god, this is so much. Here, just why we're here. Just to get it out of my way. Okay, so yeah, so that's how you do it. Now, of course, logically, you should be doing this one at a time, right? Get every 2 location down, then every 4 location, then every 6, and move your way out. Except you don't really have to. There isn't like experience levels here. The only possible upgrade I have is to bring up my forge people to 10, but that requires me getting, I'll show you, a huge amount of, I can't do that yet, a huge amount of that. I would have to have a total of 21 forge influence between the lore and the object, which can be either an influence or a tool. That's a lot. The most I could produce right now is a 16 if I had a winter cult, and that's still not enough. But you also don't forget, you get to count the 5 that they have. So technically it's not 21, it's 16. So technically if I had a winter cult, I could have right now be pulling both my winter people to level 10, which makes them extremely creepy. I mean, there's one thing about a death cult that just makes people, not the friendliest people to be around. Don't do that. Alright, so we'll heal that up, leave this blank for now. These will start disintegrating, and now, here's the deal. We've got 6 here, so there's 1 in 6 chance every time he looks for something, he grabs a notoriety. And then, of course, we'll generate 1 more here. Now, the thing is, I've got my passion back, I think. Where exactly is the 5th one? Because I know I have 5 passion. Sometimes these cards just bounce around. I'll have to look for it. Alright, what do we got? Ooh, is that it over there? Nope. Okay. So, not sure where it went. It's not in here, obviously. Did I put it in here? Yep. No, I'm not in there either. Oh, it's over here. Never mind. I'm using that as well. But right now what I can do is I can paint again. There's nothing that stops you from doing this repeatedly, if you really need that much more Mystique. And while he's looking, we can generate more. Boom. Don't use the pigment, by the way, no matter what the temptation is, because remember, we're looking for Mystique, not notoriety. All right, 1 in 6. So yeah. By the way, she just recharged, which means you can get another commission for you if you really want to push this. And throw one of these in. Why not? There you go. Just to clean things up. And there goes the count. The doctor will go next. And then Poppy. And then every 10 seconds. There we go. We need to generate more. All right. So that's one more Mystique we've generated. I put these in order so I know where it is. This, by the way, is just an indicator that you've got somebody. You've already got everybody. This person is a mistaken identity. You don't really need him. But right now, what we need to do is we might be able to get another commission. We reload the commissions. You notice we're about to 33 when it comes to that. So if it gets below 30, I'll throw one of the silver iron in. All right, so we should have more here. Yep, 2 more Mystique. Ooh, no fascination, which is lovely. Yeah, if we can keep pouring the Mystique out, then we can keep, obviously, preventing ourselves from getting from the actual crime we committed, which was breaking into a historical site, hidden. So, yeah, that's a thing. All right, so, yeah, we need another one of these. So let's throw this in for vitality, just have it on the side. Things don't seem to be getting worse for the moment, which is usually an improvement. Okay, now we've got hers here. I could gone in and did the 60-second thing because I will have to do that, but for one Mystique, it's kind of not worth it. I'd rather have the vitality in case I get sick again, because I get sick a lot in this game. Swear, it's like every Lovecraftian protagonist has to have poor health. It's a requirement. You have to have poor health, bad nerves, and sleep on the bus. You have to be just like H.P. Lovecraft. Okay. Yes, he slept on the bus. Usually considered an easy way to get a nap while he was traveling. He did travel up and down the East Coast. He wasn't quite the shut-in most people think he is. Granted, he only went to see friends and look at architecture, which inspired him to do his, workings. But, he was all made it all the way down to Florida, to the wilds of Vermont, because it was a lot wilder back then. It's pretty wild now still. Okay, so yeah, the thing is that once we get that done, we'll grab the fund there, do the vitality, put the moth one in. Reason. Done. And begin regenerating for the next expedition. Why, hopefully this thing will burn out. Won't get caught. There we go. See, the thing is, we just play the odds here. There's always a chance that he will find that, and even if he does, he doesn't automatically put in evidence. So we're just playing the odds here. This is the easy way to do it. There goes our beast. It's been degenerated down into a single influence, and awareness of appetite, which is a 2-point grail one, which will dissolve into nothing, which is why I usually think it's okay to do so. You want to be careful with the Maid in the Mirror, because she becomes a cold, 2-point winter, which becomes a dread, and you want to be careful with the edge, because that will turn into a 2-point lantern, like I said, which will be a fascination. You never want to have too many of those on the board. There we go. Since we've got you, now let's do the count. And I believe, yeah, we're cool. 18 seconds left, 48 here. That will dissolve, and he'll just clean up the rest of the Mystique. So it takes a little while, but hey, you've got to regenerate these things anyways. So boom. Doesn't matter what he does now. He can't find any evidence because we've hidden it among all of our other actions. And that is how the smoke, where there's fire, there's smoke strategy works. Okay, so we'll ditch this the usual way. There's another way to get rid of it with the sunset right, but I can't do that because because the beast went away. It's kind of an interesting way to do it, and it does provide an additional benefit. When we get there, we'll get there. Okay, so here we are a little bit later, and right now I'm going to, well, first of all, I've reloaded, actually I reloaded twice here, all of the commissions for the where there's fire, there's smoke strategy, and I'm currently undoing a sickness, but I wanted to show you how to do a more advanced expedition. Hunt for treasures in the Rending Mountains. The Rending Mountains, it has been said, tear the flesh of history. It's generally only been said by people like Christopher Illopoli, which, by the way, is like Illopoli. Christopher Illopoli, who's, by the way, produces the quote in the beginning of the game. You probably just skip past that, but yeah, he's the one who does that. He's an in-game character, and a couple of his books, which have early amounts of lore, I think you find them in the bookstore, do provide some idea who he is. He also features in a ARG game produced by fans. Oh, I forgot what it's called. Anyways, yeah, where essentially it covers what happens after the game. It turns out, if you recall, he's a lover of one of the people who evolved in the Pavlon of the Sage Knight, but they're separated because he wants to remain mortal and she, of course, became immortal. Anyways, they are a good place to find the places that daylight history does not recognize. Okay, let's see what we can spot here. Okay, pretty much got the board clear. Oh, you know what I should also do? I should also grab one of my forge people and have them repair the Noonstone, because that will bring it up to a 4-point tool, which could be useful in the future. Or, you know, I could use it as a gift. There's a reason to do gifting, by the way, to get people from 5 to 6. Especially if you're really into summoning stuff. And speaking of which, I think I might just take a Sunset Rite and use this one to create a, let's see, Prophet. Random, what are they called? Raw Prophet. Random Prophet? Why do you think his name is Random Prophet? I don't know. Sometimes I play this game for too long. Anyway, so let's see what we found. The Mausoleum of Wolves. This chilly monument was built long before Rome fell. Stone wolves watched the door. A chamber within was carved from rock to await fragments of the sun, its prophesied funeral procession. The procession never came, but the dead are still drawn here. This deals, of course, with the myth of the Forge of Days tearing apart the sun and creating this broken timeline structure we're in right now. But there's a myth, of course, that the sun will die and be reborn, which is the standard pagan myth of death and rebirth. But in any case, let's take a walk over to Turkey, shall we? All right. So, it is an abandoned place, so we should probably... Now, the thing is, when situations like this in the Rending Mountains are less predictable, normally I'd say, okay, take Lantern, but it could be wrong. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to try to summon that Grail creature, because spirits can be sent on expeditions. Let's see, fast forward that a bit much. Okay, repair the Runestone. Boom. All right. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, hurried up, hurried up. Hopefully this will not be Rebellious Servant, because that would suck. Right, we've repaired it. The Moonstone is now a 4-point tool, and it can be auctionable for more. Now, if I need to use it for a ritual, I know where to find it. It's over here. Anyways, the spirit did not rebel. Good. Now, when we do this, I can put spirits in as well. Now, the thing is, I've got 8 Grail and 8 Moth. Now, we want to get either one of these up to 5, so we need up to 10. So if we add another 5, it becomes 13, which is irrelevant. But the thing is, we also have the 8 Grail should we need it, which would spare us at least one of our companions. And if I lose a spirit, I don't really care. They just turn into gunk and come back. Did the sun ever come here when its death was pronounced? Perhaps that pronouncement was premature. In any case, if you obstruct its progress, we'll have to face avalanches, fierce ghosts, and a door sealed by adept architects. Okay, now that tells me a couple of things that I probably want, instead of these guys, the dead. Now, the thing is, I should have picked up a Maid in the Mirror, but stop doing that. Oh god, that update hasn't been fixed. But the dead can either be fought with knife, or they can be controlled with winter. Now, if I had a Maid in the Mirror who has 10 naturally by herself, I could save it, but I don't have the right influences up. If I'd known that, I would have ground for some winter influences in the Dream Realm. But we'll go here, and then we'll add what else needs to be done. Now, we've got the winter to get past the dead, possibly, and we'll see what other requirements they have when we get past the first 30-second cycle, which is about now. All right, so expedition continues, but it's going to tell us what we need. Now, there's the dead one. The edge or winter can defeat them. The door. Forge or knock. Now remember, we thought about putting lantern in, but that's for a hidden door. This is a warded door, which means it's constructed. And the blue and gray scoops lift to the eye distant snow edge dry scanning. It'll be a double job to find anything there. Forge will sustain its winter, will shield us. We've got winter of 10, so we're passing both the dead and the high passes, which means we concentrate on forge or knock. And if you remember what I say, you never risk your knock people for things like this. So now we have 5 forge right there, which will allow us to a 70% chance of passing, but we will have an opportunity to put at least one more person in. So we'll put a second one in and get a 10 for Forge, which basically means that 10 Forge, 10 Winter will get us through this one entirely. Okay. All right. Call upon Mystique cannot be unbalanced. The hour upon them called the Madrag, the Magarid is home in the cold. She will almost certainly keep us from falling. 90% success rate, and we want to increase the forge to 10. There we go. So both of those should be better. So we'll wait for this to pass through. As you can see, you can get these advanced ones done with just the resources you have right now. Having advanced my forge people up to 10. Through the high passes, frost guard and shivering, we've made it through the mountains. Excellent. The opposite, of course, there is a desert challenge too, which requires forge or Grail, which makes Forge actually really good for missions like this. Because it's got... Oh, I didn't even notice that was there. I'll have to pay for that later. Anyways, let's get drunk. All right, expedition continues. Now I think I've got everything I need, so what we're going to do is poppy and pawn. So if something does go wrong, it's a chance a red shirt bites it instead of somebody I care about. Should put the raw profit in. Ah, darn. Maybe I'll have a chance. No, I won't. It's going to burn out by that point. Okay, so... Oh, I do. We call upon the ivory dove, who knows all the names of the dead. The dead circle the edge of our vision like the frayed dreams. The very air around us is chill as winter's shadows. They must recognize this. Our necromancers are trying to keep the dead at bay. I'm throwing in the prophet just because you notice it freezes the timer, which means that I don't have to worry about decaying during that period. There goes the contentment. That will take care of that, and this will create something for that if that becomes an issue. All right, so now that we popped in here, let's see how we went. The dead draw back. Their almost faces flat and watchful. They will not trouble us. Excellent. Also, we didn't have to kill them, or kill them again. I'm not sure how that works with Edge. I guess you just chop up their bodies and they can't function anymore, which just seems rude. But this is just, hey, chill, bro. We're on your side. We're death. Okay, logistical subsidies. This means you have to send funds. You can't send a companion to do so. All right, still going, still going. It cost us 3 funds so far, and 1 spirit, and 1 pawn, and 4 people I actually care about. All right. Yeah, it's just adding up over there. All right. Almost certainly shatter the water door because we have the 10 forge. And again, the pawn, just in case something goes wrong. Always, there's no problem an evil genius cannot solve by sacrificing minions. Okay, so... The death of the door. All doors must open as all lives must end. This door has found its end here today. So, we're blown open the place. Remember, this is about the time the next cycle, I think is when you do the last challenge, is that you have to begin your process of painting. Boom, treasures lie before us. So, pop this open. No, that's not what I want to hear. Sometimes the cards go weird places if you double-click them. Alright, so, and then, yeah, we got plenty of these, so just use that to get some more. I'm not really interested. I'm just doing it for the extra mystique. Coming of the wolf. The whispering of the... hold on. There we go. The whispering of the dead is quiet, but another sound echoes in the mausoleum. I always love the flavor text in these. The faint descending howl, like the metal tearing in the hull of a ship, dropping in pitch until it churns our bones. It could almost be the wind, but it is not. We should not stay long here. Ooh, Fenris is awake. The wolf that is destined to devour the sun. Did you not catch that reference? Yes, it is basically the tomb of Fenris from Norse mythology, although it's not in the right place. All right, so we've got, let's see, 2 of these plus a fascination. So we've got, you know how to get rid of fascination. Ooh, I've got a... There you go. Don't do that, damn it. I hate this new update. All right, let's see, Enid, this, and Grail. Boom. Whoops, grabbed the wrong one. Oh, well. This too shall pass. All right. The chill in the... Get back there. Get back there. Anyways, a chill... Ugh. Is this fucking with my mouse too? The chill in the air deepens until our skin crisps the ice. The core of the mausoleum is a white marble bowl upon a granite plinth. Plinth. It is filled with snow whose touches burns the skin, and then buried in it. Items of note. Were they concealed here, or were they offerings? Nothing besides remains. Offerings still are the wolf snow, which is a... far too cold to ever melt anything with the hottest noonday sun. It will very gradually consume human flesh. It is a winter 8-point ingredient, as well as sellable if you want it cached for, so you can use it either for a spell or money. I'm probably Second Glory, worked by Rinch, the priest and hermit scholar. But notice it is written in Deep Mandrake, which we cannot translate at this time. Wolf Snow, as the sun is coarse, which is in Aramaic, which you can do. Joel of the Bridge, retired soldier and sometimes tollkeeper, wrote this epic poem about Alexander's favor's inexplicable decision to issues to withdraw from the war of Achaemenid and his subsequent return to Macedonia. Alexander the Not-So-Great, who once tried to conquer the world and ended up turning back at about 2/3 mark because his men really didn't want to keep going. They were like 1,500 miles from home. He needed to walk all the way back. And so when he does turn back, he gets killed, either poisoned or killed by malaria. Nobody really knows. But everything he ever did vanished. The nature of a conflict. No matter what you grab, you will eventually slide through your fingers. The Velshorn inscriptions. Hundreds of matching lines in Feyergan poetry copied from a wall, similar identical to the inscriptions Cal Gelshorn discovered in Harfakinus. If you speak Greek, you can use this as a key to Feyergan. Well, which we will be doing since we don't know Feyergan either. Alright, we got a bunch of books and stuff, and we've got, my god, 3 wolf snow. I mean, if I really needed to, I could summon Maids in the Mirror this way, but I don't really need to at this point. In the meantime, let's just get rid of this a conventional way before it gets us into trouble. Got the notoriety up and running, so we'll get Madame going with the smoke strategy. The restlessness is going to turn to dread, but I can get rid of that conventional way. Alright, she gave us this, plus the glimmering. Okay, get these over here. I just kind of like to make these more organized. Okay, the count. You do that. Alright, where are we in this? Alright, cool. Another couple of Mystique, plus an Erudition. A good immortal doctor. See, I don't know, maybe he is the doctor, who knows. The Lonely Immortal, they call him. Oh god, that was the early stage. Oh god, I remember those, and just going on and about how gushing how awesome the doctor was. In reality, he got sick after a while. But John Nathan, no, that wasn't John Nathan Taylor. That's the old Trek. Old Trek. Oh god, my brain. Old Doctor Who. Who was the first guy? It's like on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot remember who he was. The one before Moffat. But anyways, yeah, he kept going on about how it sucked to be the Doctor because he was always left behind by his companions. And I'm like, dude, he's immortal and he has adventures. He gets depressed every once in a while and then he gets over it. I mean, let's face it, I'm glad Jodie has the job. She's much more cheerful. She's like a breath of fresh air to the role, which is desperately what I needed. And I am going on way too long about this. Alright, so we're going to have like dread forever at this point. And in the meantime, let's... Maybe we need Aramaic. Let's translate this from Aramaic. Curious what it might say. Okay, so yeah, so that's how you do an advanced one, and I gotta get Poppy in so I can get her Mystique up and running. Yep, just keeps going, doesn't it? Either this is the type of game that drives you mad or just relaxes the hell out of you. Depends on how comfortable you are with OCD. Okay. So yeah, we're still translating that. I'm going to need to get rid of the dread as soon as this pops clean. Hopefully I'll be able to do so. Boom. And we got another glimmering out of it. Put the dread here, put the contentment there, ditch that. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to translate this one book and probably call it an episode at that point because I think I've gotten most of the basics out of the way. I've taught you how to deal with the problems that come up, such as, you know, lack of money and the mental disorders adding up like dread. And there we go. Let's get rid of the dread by summoning... Oh, okay. If you're going to summon something with an edge, 2 edge here in the dread to get rid of it, make sure it's the Thunderskin, because this one will decay into a vitality. The rest can decay into issues. What the hell? Whoever updated this, I hate you. Alright, Joel the British Dude. Okay, so we're going to read the book. Alexander meets at Isis with Darius, King of Kings. That would be for 3 days. Is that the Persian Empire? I think so. And 3 nights. On the first day, the two men trade threats, and the second promises and the third secrets. Darius tells Alexander something so shattering he retires to his tent to consider matters of strength and matters of mastery. Basically, he told him that it doesn't matter if he could conquer the world, he'd be but mortal, and there was a possibility to gain immortality if he turned back, and probably, you know, bribed him with a book or two about how he could do so. So let's see if there's anything interesting here. These are resetting. I'm at 27, so I'll just pop in one of these for a couple bucks. The iron ones. Keep the bronze ones, remember. Always keep the bronze ones. Those will come in handy. Alright, pop this out. I don't have a vitality up and running, and I can't afford to go without the work at the moment. So, boom. We'll burn money on this time. But at least I got rid of the dread before the dread trap got it. Alright. Raw profit I'm not really using. Yeah. After action report. Even when you do the expeditions, there's always so much cleanup. It's ridiculous. Yep, we got a Thunderskin and 8 edge, 8 heart one, which has its purposes, but right now its only purpose is it's not dread. Ooh, they fixed the text. They will not... percussagant. Like percussion. It likes the sistrum's shiver. It loves the thrill of timpanos type of drums. It recalls the fondness of flaying a Marius. Basically flaying a guy alive, and so it will not stop dancing. Just can't stop dancing. Damn, God, this thing would be horrible to disco. All right, so let's see. Yeah, all right, boom, get us the book. The sun is course. At the dawn of the fourth day, Alexander announces the sun has his course upon which he returns, and so do I. He returns to Macedonia, executing 2 of his captains before they dispute his decision. He brings with him the names of a blind god and the right of sacred betrayal. For Joel opines, without betrayal there would be an end to war. Okay, this timeline isn't ours, because Alexander was killed by those 2 captains in our time. This time around, Darius informs him about the nature of betrayal, that otherwise he's going to be betrayed. He betrays them first, and lives to come back to Greece. I don't know how that changes the past, but it's interesting, right? The revel shredding. This rite enacts a tearing of the Forge of Days. The artisan may achieve their highest goal only by destroying the most precious tool. The lionsmith knew this when he shattered his sword before the colonel, so my assistant must destroy and equip this instrument. Basically, you sacrifice an instrument for this rite, which I think is kind of stupid. Colonel's name. Yep, a level 8 knife. You'll notice if you go for the big ones and you kind of skip the middle ones, there's a couple things that happen as a result. Let's put this over 10, which is now my highest lore except for secret histories. Yeah, you get the ones, but you're going to notice that you're going to get ones that have language issues. Deep Mandric, which is based on a real language, by the way. They all are based on real languages. Fijian, for example, is an actual place in the real world. I just discovered that, and I did Lorena McKennitt had a song based about the area, which is kind of cool. The thing is that you'll get these translator ones just desperately, or you can summon spirits to do so, but I can't... Sorry, hit the microphone. I can't summon spirit until I can get 10 forge, which means I get 10 lore or get one of these guys up to 10, which is going to take some time. I'll eventually get these guys to 10, these 3 guys up to 10 forge, simply because it would be a lot easier for me just be able to put 1 instead of 2 people in, but it's not a huge issue. Right now, even though I only have 3 of the 5 gates open to the Dream Realm, even though I don't have any of my ads exalted, even though I haven't got a lore higher than 10 except for secret histories, I could beat this game with what I have right here. It's not necessary to go anymore, but you know, most people do want to. So that's where I'm probably going to end the series for now. Now, like last... Hello, this is Fantastic Worlds from the future. It's the first week of October and recording. It's about a week or so after I did the original episode. So I'm doing a quick update that's important in that, whereas this is supposed to be a replacement series simply to fill in until Luster and Beyond, the next series that the patrons had the unlock bonus for, dropped, unfortunately, or fortunately from your point of view, that did not drop. Apparently they're having issues with getting Steam to host the game, probably due to its adult content, but in the meantime, this series will continue until A, the Scarlet, the next prologue drops, and that will take up the Saturday slot, or B, I run out of things to say about this game, which, considering the DLC, probably won't be for a while. In any case, I've been recording other things as well. Probably the next episode will be Advanced Tricks. F the Police will be after that one, simply because I need to be set up properly for it to do it right. And, of course, there's the DLC, such as the Dancer and such. And I'm considering lore ones. Basically, I was going back and forth in this because I didn't want to do a spoiler, but I've decided that I'll try to go over the books and the locations of this game without giving away where the books are, for example, and, of course, what trials you need for the locations. This would be primarily to explain where they fit in the greater lore of the game and the broken universe that is Cultist Simulator. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you're interested in, or if you're just still looking for gameplay advice. In any case, I'll see you next time.